Hamilton is one of those watch brands that I have a good deal of respect for as a watch enthusiast. And I think a lot of you can relate to my sentiments here. You can understand the value proposition that they bring to the table at the various prices that they offer their watches at. Whether you're looking at an entry-level field watch or a Jazz Master with an open heart design, or one of their chronographs with a Bicompax Valjoux chronograph, modified movement. They consistently, they bring a strong game to the court. And one could argue that they almost do too much. There's almost too much selection, too many designs from this brand. And the brand could be enhanced by maybe simplifying the product catalog and focusing on more cohesion. But again, I don't know. I have a lot of respect for this brand. I've often said that Hamilton is almost like the Seiko of the Swiss scene. They have a flavor for everybody, and their watches are so practical. They're by no means perfect. There are elements to their designs, to their watches that really need to be taken up to the next level. But on the whole, there is something intangible about their product catalog, about some of their models specifically. And I don't know, it's appealing. And I think the watch scene as a whole kind of backs me up there with how well Hamilton is held in regard and how well some of their watches sell. So today we're going to be reviewing and taking a look at this recent release from Hamilton. This is the Intramatic. This is one that I'm not sure exactly how to describe. And I've featured a lot of watches over the years, but this one, hear me out, guys. I almost think this is in a category or a league in its own. It's almost in no man's land when it comes to the design language. It's not an aviation piece. It's not a field watch. Certainly not a dive watch. It's not a dress watch. It's kind of in a league of its own when it comes to the stylistic cues. And I'm interested to hear your guys' take. What do you think of the design language? Do you see this as more of a dressy piece or more of a sporty piece? Would this be well suited for use as a daily driver? I'm interested to hear your guys' take. Now, I'm going to share with you my opinion, and you guys let me know if I'm off base here or if, I've been fair to this watch and I've covered the good and the bad and the ugly, I guess, as well, if we're going to be making Clint Eastwood references. So this watch carries 40.2 millimeters of overall diameter, 46.4 in overall lug-to-lug length. And I like the fact that this carries rather short, stubby, squared off lugs. So if you have smaller wrists or smaller sport watch preferences, I really think you're going to enjoy the way this wears and fits. It has nice, just a really nice presence. It's proportional. It has pop and a little bit of bling with the all polished finish of the case of the hardware on the strap. We have 11.3 in overall height when it comes to the dimension. That's from the bottom of the engraved case back to the top of the domed sapphire crystal. And there is a nice layer of anti-reflective treatment on the underside of the crystal. And that's one of those niggles that I usually have with Hamilton is they have terrible anti-reflective treatment or none at all. And so it's nice to see this one improved. It's great to see Hamilton kind of listening to us crazy watch idiot savants with the things that, we bring to the table with our wish list. Like, hey, we want better lume. We want better anti-reflective treatment. I think they're starting to listen to us, and that certainly is encouraging. We have 20 millimeter as the lug width, and you'll notice on this black calf strap, it tapers down to about 18 millimeters at this polished buckle. You guys can see a Hamilton signature. Now, what would have been really nice attention to detail is if Hamilton would have done the old school logo on the buckle like they've done on the crown and like they've done on the dial. I much prefer the old school retro logo. I think it's more attractive. I think it's just better aesthetically and stylistically. So that's just a minor gripe. And I might sound ridiculous. I might sound totally anal, but you know what? The little details, they make a big difference for us crazy watch enthusiasts, for the good and for the not so good. So let's talk about some more good details. What's going on the dial on a macro level? I think this is very clean, very well laid out. It's balanced. It's symmetrical. It's easy to read at a glance. There's a date down by the 6 o'clock position. And here's a dial detail that actually kind of bothers me. And that is the starkness of the white date wheel. I think this would be better suited if it was an eggshell or an off-white like we see with the dominant dial color. Or maybe go the opposite direction and go bold with contrast. Go with a blacked out date wheel. I think that could be very attractive in its own right. But you guys can see just a very clean dial. No dust, no particulates, no rough finishing to the handset. You might pick up on an imperfection here or there, just very minute in the handset. The printing is tidy. Overall, this is one of the more clean dials that I've seen across the board, from Swiss to Japanese watches to micro brand watches. I think Hamilton has certainly done a nice job with this. I like the fact that the running seconds hand, your black seconds hand, it matches the chapter ring in color. And notice how it's longer than your applied markers and your lume plops. So it really reaches all the way to the edge of the dial. And that's a small detail that I always appreciate. It's not something that you see very often with sport watches, but I don't know, it's nice to see here. Now let's zoom out and do the lume shot. We have a little bit of Superluminova C1. It's not the best, but certainly, again, this is not a dive watch. Really, I don't know, tell me where I'm wrong here, but I don't really know what style of watch this is. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's different. And I think sometimes it's good to be different, especially with all the selection that we have at that $500 on up to $1,000 price segment. There's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of good stuff just below and just above, that price range as well. So sometimes I think you do want to stand out a little bit. It works in some instances. It doesn't work in other instances. Let me know if you guys think it works in this instance. Now let's talk about the movement. What we have here is called the H10 caliber. Basically, it's a modified ETA 2824-2, and it's got some really nice modifications. The thing that I like the most about it is the fact that we have an anti-magnetic hairspring. It's a special alloy called Nivicron, so it's going to be similar to silicon in the way it acts, the way it's impervious to magnetic flux. So I think it's an upgrade from, a basic 2824 that you'll get in, say, a Steinhardt or an equivalent watch. So this will have anti-magnetic properties, a free sprung balance, 25 joules, and an 80-hour power reserve, which is roughly double what you would get in an unmodified 2824. So really, that's very respectable. Nice, just nice specifications here. It's dialed in well, and there will be a skeletonized rotor with an H cutout. Now, one of the things that I don't necessarily enjoy is the fact that we have a 21,600 beat per hour rate here. So the seconds hand will make 6 different movements in between each second in a 1 second time frame there. So you guys can see when we're zoomed in on this macro level, it appears a little bit jumpy. It looks like a Seiko. Most Seiko mechanical movements carry that 3 Hz beat frequency. And if you look at a watch that carries a 4 Hz beat frequency, like an unmodified 2824, it makes a difference when you're seeing 8 ticks per second as opposed to 6 ticks per second. And again, it kind of goes down to the craziness of the watch enthusiast community. We can zero in on the details with an element that really no normal person would think twice about, but it makes a big difference to us watch enthusiasts. So that is present here with this H10 caliber. But overall, I think this is strong, for just under $1,000 full retail. There is some really nice things here with the design language, with the balance, the symmetry, how comfortable this is on wrist, the Nivicron anti-magnetic hairspring, the power reserve. There is some areas for improvement, though. I would like to see a mix of finishing here, maybe some brushing on the case. We would lose a little bit of bling, but I think we would add a layer of finesse and just a deeper aspect of the overall design. I think could be improved with a bit of mixing the finishes up with clean lines of delineation between the various finishes. And it would be nice to have more water resistance in a screw down crown. This does have a push-pull crown, the 3 o'clock position, 50 meters of water resistance, which I think is forgivable because technically this is not marketing itself as a sport watch. Again, I kind of mentioned it's in no man's land. It's in a league of its own stylistically, and I'm looking forward to hearing your guys' opinions and your take on the overall package here in the comments section. And then the last element is when it comes down to the overall package. We're always searching as watch enthusiasts for, a screaming deal where we pay a certain amount of money and we get so much in return. Again, like I mentioned in the beginning of this presentation, I think Hamilton certainly does a respectable job of doing that. But we're always going to be asking for more as watch enthusiasts. And for this, if I'm going to be spending between $500 and $1,000, I would like to see a nice bracelet from the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer. This one comes on a comfortable calf leather strap, certainly nothing wrong with that, but it would be nice to have a good bracelet, perhaps the Milanese mesh that you get on the Panda Chrono version. I think that would look really good. I think this is primed for, changing up the look. I think it's a versatile design and layout. You could put this on a brown contrasting shell Cordovan, really change the feel, or you could put it on the polished Milanese mesh and really kind of enhance the polish and make it pop, make the black stand out, the contrasting elements stand out to a greater degree. So this has a good palette to work with. And I'd like to thank Mimo of Mimo's Jewelry for lending this in, letting me spend some time with it, share my appraisal, my opinions with you guys. And again, I'm looking forward to hearing your takes in the comments section. I'm going to be sending this to Robert of the Random Rob channel, get his opinion, see his review, and he's going to be sending a dark khaki king for me to review and check out and share my opinions on. So stay tuned for some more fun Hamilton content. Look forward to talking with you guys in the comment section. And actually, before I forget, Mimo did create a discount code for those of you shopping for Hamilton. It's exclusive to my viewers here. It's in the description of the video. I can't specifically advertise what it is, but I'm happy to share it with you because it's a good discount. It's substantial, especially with the brand new release. So that's in the description. And no, I don't get a cut. I don't get a commission or anything like that. I don't get free watches. It's just a way for Mimo to track where his sales, where the traffic is coming from. It helps me get access to awesome watches from his store. So if you guys are interested, I really would appreciate you using the code. And again, that's in the description. So thanks again, guys. Hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you in the comments section.